Hi, I'm Minyoung Choi. I'm a painter based in London. I'm originally from South Korea. I came to London in 2015 to study at the School of Fine Art MFA course, and I graduated in 2017. Since then, I stayed here in London. So it's been about 9 years. In this studio, I've been here for about 5 years. I spend a lot of time here, and I mostly do oil paintings. I work on canvas. I'm interested in exploring the idea of humans and animals relationship. So if you see my work, there are a lot of humans and animals being together, but they don't seem to mind each other because some animals are appearing as really giant, and sometimes you'll see mythical creatures from Korean folk stories. But I like to describe them as if this is happening naturally all the time, as if you're dreaming. There are a lot of strange things happening, but it feels quite natural. The title of my show is called 꿈을 빌려드립니다 in Korean, which translates to Dreams for Hire in English. I took the idea from a short story by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. It's a short story about a woman who can predict other people's future through her dream, and she earns and lives through her dream by renting. And yeah, it's quite strange story. I saw the connection between those style of writing, magic realism, with my work. I have lots of distant memories from each countries. It's very hard to revisit again physically because of a lot of things happening in my life. I can't just go there often. But I feel like I left some part of me there in different countries, and I like to think about distant spaces and kind of repaint about them as well. And also I notice a lot of colors so different from countries. I think it's because of the sky. Maybe the sunlight reflects color differently, and also the culture-wise, people use different colors. So I was always interested in diverse colors and vivid colors. I think that also naturally emerged in my work. So when I use colors in my work, it's not actually what I see in real life, like documentary or photographic. It's more based on my memories and like emotion or feeling I want to deliver. I think that's how it is connected. I always just develop this place in my work, and it feels like you can actually walk in, or it feels like you visited before. So for me, when I start working, the particular place is important as well. I usually start from place I know, or I feel I know because I've seen so many times, or I thought about it so many times. And Han River in Seoul is also a place I'm familiar with, but sometimes it feels very strange whenever I revisit, because there are a lot of things happening all the time. There are people and then animals. Like you just discover people fishing next to the strong current, and it's quite scary. It feels like you're actually close to the sea, and I'm always overwhelmed by the concrete pillars for the bridges. People who has been to Han River, they will notice that the river is quite wide and there are so many bridges, like highways, and it's quite loud. And when I walk under those bridges, I'm quite overwhelmed because of the scale and then the echoing sounds of everything, because I feel sublime. Usually sublime, you feel it from like grand nature, something not human-made, but I think those bridges and the space actually gives me this kind of feeling of overwhelming. So in the painting, I wanted to include this river and human-made sublime existing together. And then from that, for me, there is an endless possibilities of imagination. So like they just appear while I paint. First of all, I really love animals. I always had small pets while I grew up. I had hamster, fish, turtle, and even snail. I'm everything. Apart from dog, why I had a cat before my mom has it now. So they've been constantly inspiring me. As a kid, I really liked to watch those like National Geographic. And I really like to observe how animal behaves, and it's so fascinating that they look so different from us and they can move in such a different ways. I really like to imagine how I would move if I were that animal. So yeah, it's a constant fascination that seeps into my work. I think for me, fish is the most familiar animal for me because there are maybe too many reasons. Like fish is so common in Korea as dish as well. We eat a lot, and my hometown was called Eundong, which is fish is hidden. You know, fish is so like the form, the shape is so simple, like so flimsy, and it's so vulnerable outside of water. You need like super gentle care for it. And because of that simpleness, I feel that I'm directly interacting with life itself. Because when it comes to people, you know, we're all dressed up and we think about like social, I don't know, status, or you have things to do, you constantly think about future and past. But when you encounter this, you know, simple looking animal swimming in the water, I can immediately think about I'm also part of the nature, not so different from them. So I really like the feeling, and it naturally appears in my painting. In the new body of work, in the river, I thought I need to paint water creature, and river dolphin would be perfect. I mean, in real life, it doesn't really make sense that river dolphin appears in Han River. I took the inspiration from Amazon river dolphin. They have like really pointy nose. They have these teeth coming out. They look like they have character in them. I wanted to continue this idea of dolphins appearing in the river. They're appearing in like 3 paintings in the show. I like to start paintings from my drawings. So I make a lot of drawings beforehand. I paint, and from the drawings, I get the feeling of how the painting might look like and what I want to develop from those tiny little drawings. I think everything develops through continuous process. So I don't know the final image completely because it's not like I start from ready-made image or concrete image. So the drawing becomes very important. I make a lot of color pencil drawings, and I figure out the tone of the painting, colors, and what's gonna be in. So the drawing becomes some kind of map throughout the painting. And sometimes when you make a lot bigger scale, sometimes I get lost. So I go back to my drawing and then I redream about my painting. Many times I start painting around the light I like. For example, street lights or lamp in my house, moonlight, sunlight. I mean, in real life, I really like to look at them, and I find that they are making my everyday life a bit more magical as well. And I really like having that quality in my work. So my paintings, I deliberately set the light in certain places so that I can highlight some things, or I choose a type of light. For example, when I want to have a very strong orange and red color in my work, I think about sunset a lot. And I also cut piece of paper, like yellow paper, and then stick next to the painting. And then from that, I imagine how the light will fall and then how much shadow will be created. I really like to work that way because it feels like I'm kind of controlling the space. It's somehow easier for me to shape, like form things like objects and people. And when it comes to the main piece I made for the show, I immediately thought about the night scene of me being in the seaside, and there's a bright moon lighting everything, quite cool moonlight in the overall painting. But then, because it's so white, it was a great opportunity for me to put another source of light, which is campfire. I wanted to give this tiny bit of warmth in the painting in the corner, and I thought it might be a bit more interesting to see, people gathered around the fire. It's figurative painting, but I think a lot in terms of like attractive way as well. So if I put something here, I need something there, and then that became campfire as well, which is more warm and more with red colors. There are a lot of things, but I listen to music a lot from a DJ called No Strip. I've been listening to his music for about 10 years, and it always puts me in a good mood to paint, and it's so much easier for me to come up with the new idea. So his music is like essential for my studio practice. I hope viewers enjoy my show. And I want to say that these, if you just pay attention a little bit more in your everyday life, you can find these magical elements in your life as well, like your dream and the paintings, and you can also be the part of this world.